feel so far away. Hope you don't miss me when I'm so far away. Speaking of far away, I'm in Bella Forge, South Dakota. Anybody is wondering, hey, where's Ken at this morning? Hopefully that's not what you're thinking. Hopefully you guys got your own stuff going on and you're thinking about things you're grateful for, and you're praying, and you're making your bed, and you're maybe getting a little stretching in, or doing some good habits, or kissing your wife or your husband, or smiling as you're pulling your kids out of their beds or their cribs or their what have you, and doing your own thing and working through your own adventure in your own life. And not just waiting for me to get up and share bits of mine. But either way. Good morning to you. Hi, Ken. I was in South Dakota 2 weeks ago. Beautiful area. Well, Gary, I'm going to be riding right through it today. I'm going to be going near Sturgis and Rapid City in the next couple hours. So we'll keep you posted, maybe. Will I try to go to the local church today? No, I will not, RJ. I'm crossing the country. I'm not, no, I'm not going to try and find a church somewhere in South Dakota that works with my schedule. I'm trying to get home. And I'm 875 miles away from my sister's home, which is kind of my first destination because there's a little family event going on there later in the week. And trying to get back to her house and then see my family and go from there. But anyway, good morning to you. My name is Ken Tracy, and this is Coffee with Ken. It is Sunday morning. It is July 28th. It is 5:56 a.m. Happy Sunday. This is a show I've been doing for a while, and it is a show hold on. Today is my 180th day without alcohol. Ken went back to school this spring and working towards my engineering degree. I'm grateful for that this morning. Well, way to go, Womble, for having 180 days sober, going back to school, and working on your engineering degree. It sounds like you got a lot going on. A lot of good stuff. I think we all have the potential to have a lot of good stuff going on in our lives, or we could easily do a bunch of bad stuff or do bad things and what have you. Congratulations to the sobriety, the school, the engineering, the whole bit. And hope you're proud of that, because I think if you feel proud of that, you're more likely to, I don't think people get it. If you're proud of yourself, it's okay to be proud of yourself. If you're proud of yourself, there's more likely you're going to feel good about being sober, and you're going to school, and you're doing work, and you're doing hard things. And being proud is kind of the reward you get from doing the right thing. So I hope you're proud of yourself this morning. Good morning, Kevin Nickel. Hold on here. Where was I? But anyway, as I was saying, this is a show I've been doing for a while. It's a show about me talking and sharing some feelings, sharing the ups and downs we have in life. I had various people asking me how the hotel coffee is. How would I know? Because I haven't had my, good morning, Carol. Good morning, Wanda. I haven't had my first sip yet this morning, but I do have a hot cup of coffee in front of me. I just kind of wobbled down the hall, got to the elevator, heard a dog rustling in a room I was wobbling by, which kind of surprised me because this hotel's really clean. I didn't think they didn't feel like a place that had dogs in it. But then I got towards the elevator, and I'm headed into the elevator, and the door opens up, and this big German Shepherd pulls his head around and looks at me. And it was on a leash. It wasn't wandering through the hotel on its own. It was on a leash. Its owner was there and took it the other way, but it kind of made me chuckle. It kind of made me chuckle because I really love dogs, but I'm scared of German Shepherds, kind of. I know, don't hate me for it. I know they're good dogs. I know you love them if you got one. But I've been bitten by one. The one dog I was attacked was a German Shepherd. They're very protective of their families, almost to a fault. When I traveled last year, all the hotels let me stay with my two big dogs. I was surprised too. Yeah, I mean, I stayed in a hotel yesterday, and it was a real, I mean, it wasn't, I like to keep it positive, wasn't the cleanest or nicest hotel I've ever stayed in, for sure. But I was still thankful for the bed I had and the coffee they served. G-Man said they were attacked by one too, yeah. How old was I when the dog, I mean, calling it a dog attack. I didn't lose an eye or lose a limb or anything like that, but it did burst into it. I was hanging out. My mom was working as a lunch lady at Pierce Downer grade school, and where my brothers were probably going to school at that time. And I was hanging out with a buddy in this bush by a tree, kind of doing whatever kids do, pretending we were camping or something. All of a sudden, the dog charged into the bush and grabbed a hold of my butt and chomped onto my right butt. But good morning, Roger. Anyway, let's just fast forward of my introduction and get to what we're all here for. For those that have been watching a while, you know it's also a show about me sharing my love of coffee. Hey, look at this. Check me out. Check me out. I'm seeing double. It's like double mint gum. Do you guys remember double mint gum? Yeah. Commercials. They still stick with you. I am excited to have my first sip of coffee this morning at this early hour, and my hope is wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you got a hot cup of coffee in front of you as well. Cheers to us. Oh. Wow, that was so hot and steamy, I don't even know if I could taste it. Don't even know if I could taste it. Gary says, keeping a good thought for you, your safety and safe passage, Ken. Yeah, thank you. I probably won't tell my sister to buy any special coffee for me. If I want it, I have the power to go to the store. She's being kind to host a family event. And she's a great host. And last thing she needs is one request from me, one extra request from me. I'll be thankful for whatever coffee she provides, because I know she'll have coffee there. And whether it's Folgers or something fancier, I'll be thankful for it either way. And although I kind of talk about my favorite coffees, I think it's good to be a good guest and eat the food they provide and drink the coffee they provide, and try and cause as least problems for her as I can. She's a mother of 6 kids, and my dad lives with her, and she's doing a great job in life. And yeah. Gary says, instant sticks have saved me more than once while traveling. Is there a special dish meal you're looking forward to? No, I'm not that much of a foodie, RJ. I think you are. You send me pictures of the food you're eating and talk about food probably more than I would. I only talk about them more in the context of life. Like yesterday, I got here. I've been working at Yellowstone, for anybody new, for the last couple months. I was working as a waiter. Got a job there, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago. Rode my scooter across the country from Chicago to Yellowstone, and worked as a waiter there for 2 months, and learned I could physically handle it. Learned I missed my kids a lot, although I knew I would. And my family and my friends, and from some of the simple things about living on the outside world. And the last couple days, I've been riding back from Yellowstone, heading towards Chicago, and stopped in this hotel on the far western side of South Dakota, just over the border. Good morning, Lisa Olson. Just over the border, and asked the guy that was checking me in, whose name was Scott, which is my brother's name in case Scott is watching. I mentioned that to the gentleman, and he goes, well, Scott's actually my middle name. I go, huh? And that was pretty much the end of that conversation. But either way, was asking about food options. I kind of hobbling a little bit last night and a little more so this morning because I kind of tipped over my bike yesterday on my ride. And what was I saying? Oh, I was asking about food options. And he said, well, there's a great Mexican place over there. There's a Pizza Hut across the street, and there's a Subway right over there, right next door. And I decided Subway sounded really nice because I was living in a national park for 2 months, being served in a cafeteria by the same people, very similar food, for 2 months straight, eating off a tray. And something sounded affordable about Subway, healthy almost about Subway, and super, super fun about going to a Subway. And so I went to the Subway. It was probably the cleanest Subway I've ever been. Kudos to that owner. They had a really nice guy named Eli that was serving me a sandwich, that created my sandwich. He had a great attitude. He appreciated me calling him Eli because he had a hat that said, like Eli Way. I think that was their thing, that instead of a name tag, they had their name up here on their hat with the way, as in Subway. And he made a great sandwich. He made it, although they changed their menu a little bit, he cooked it up for me. He added a bunch of hot peppers, a ton of black olives, and mayo. And I had him told him to recommend a sauce to me, and he did, and he poured it all over. But the sandwich was great, and the experience was great. And the reason the experience for me was great is because I've been eating in the same cafeteria for 2 months. And just being out of that setting, I think, is great for me. I think it's, I think it was more challenging for me than it is for some people. I know it was challenging to others. There was people leaving and getting fired left and right, and people would do silly things and lose their jobs and what have you back at the park. But I think, as I was telling my buddy Tom that worked there, as my RC it's called, he kept the bathrooms clean, which was important for me. I said, this is hard for me. And he goes, yeah, it's not for everybody. And living and working in a park and living in communal living and eating from a cafeteria and having most of your life exist from the dorm room to the place you work and back again was really hard for me. And I'll miss a lot of the faces and the people I know and the friendly chit chat I'd have with a lot of people. But I won't miss that dirt parking lot that I walked several times a day to and fro the cafeteria or to and fro my work. Won't miss that at all. So let's have a little more coffee. It was the spicy Italian sandwich, by the way, which cost $10.07. I left them $1. Not totally sure how I feel about tipping every. And I worked as a waiter, so I'm not totally sure how I feel about, I don't know when it happened, technology or COVID, or in the last few years, you can tip anybody, anywhere, any transaction almost. You slide your credit card and there's a tip option. I don't know if I like that or not. I do have a thought about tipping. I was riding in western Montana, or probably western Montana. I think it was a tiny little town of Hardin, Montana, along my way back home on the back roads. And I was going to keep going and going where my GPS was telling me to go straight, and in a mile, take a right, or whatever it was saying. And I came across kind of a main road for Hardin, Montana. And let me tell you, Hardin, Montana isn't a real big metropolis. Oh, no. But I decided to adventure on the main road and took a left and came across a little breakfast diner place. Nothing much from the outside, nothing fancy, just some brick building that said coffee and breakfast on the outside. And I forget what the name of it was, but I think I checked in on social media there yesterday. And there's some older ladies serving. It was a filled up restaurant, a bunch of guys with cowboy hats, because we were in Montana. And it felt great about the place, and it looked great, and it was just kind of a little tiny diner in a little tiny town in, I don't know, western central Montana. And sat down. She poured me some coffee. She kept the coffee coming. And by the way, for the first time maybe in my life, I said, oh no, I've had enough. But it was right after I'd already left the money on the table. And I decided I didn't need any more. But that may have been the first time I ever said no to more coffee refills. But I knew I had some riding to go. But either way, the bill was $17. And I think a lot of people might leave it was 17 flat. I think a lot of people might leave a 20 and say, hey, that's almost 20%, or it's certainly more than 15%, and be okay. And I didn't do anything crazy, because I'm not one that thinks you need to leave 50% tips or anything. But just for me, mentally, it felt good. And it's not even a big deal, and that's what makes it so cool. Normally, I'd probably leave $4 in that situation, because it'd be 25% or whatever. And I left 5 instead. And it just felt good, because I know as a waiter or waitress, when you get a little bigger tip than you're expecting, it feels good. And it wasn't anything, no skin off my back. It was just $1 amongst several that were bouncing around my wallet of no meaning to me. But I know as a person that gets tips a little bit more. So what I'd say today, if you go out to a restaurant, go with a little bit more than whatever you normally give. Because a little bit more made me feel good. I go, hey, I normally leave 4. She tried to give me extra coffee. Let's leave her another $1. And it felt kind of nice. And I'm sure she appreciated it. And it kind of left me feeling good as I headed out on my way across Montana. So, basic rules of going out. 20% should be the minimum. I don't know that there should be a minimum. I don't know how I feel about tipping. A lot of people, again, I wait tables. I don't even know. I had a really neat experience yesterday. And again, I think one of the coolest things about riding a bike or a scooter or a motorcycle on the 2-lane roads of America, first of all, you experience little diners that I experienced yesterday in Hardin, Montana. And you experience little towns, and you need to rest along your way more so than you do in a car. And I came across many neat little things. That diner in Hardin, there was this beautiful little coffee shop in a tiny town of 300 with a bunch of locals kind of hanging out there, probably because there was nowhere else to hang out in this tiny town. And just was a really neat experience. And I went in and used the washroom, and as I came out, I saw a woman that was sitting there that looked important. And I asked her if she was the owner or the proprietor, and she goes, yes, I am. And she looked concerned, and I go, that was probably the nicest bathroom I've ever been in. She'd had it decorated, she had it smelling nice, she had it clean as a whistle, and her whole coffee shop was cute as heck and spotless, and a gift shop. And I guess she remodeled it a year or so ago, she told me, but it was beautiful. And it was just a little neat memory I had along the way of Montana, and a little good good thought I had. And I had some conversation with some locals and sat there, enjoyed a huge blueberry muffin and a delicious cup of coffee. But the neat experience wasn't that. Yeah, again, my point was you never really know where you're going to come across when you're traveling 2-lane roads across America. And I'm a history buff. I watch a lot of documentaries, and I know a fair bit, or a reasonable amount, about General Custer and Custer's last stand and the Battle of Little Bighorn. But I'm getting the chills. I actually came across Little Bighorn and the site where the battle was, and went in. It's now a national park and a beautiful place. And I'm almost going to get teary-eyed for some reason. Just because it felt like a solemn place. And it was a place, it's now it's Custer's National Cemetery and site of Little Bighorn. And it's a place where they buried veterans from various wars, including the, Indian Wars, or whatever they're called, from the late 1800s. And there's a lot of people buried there from a bunch of different wars, and the gravestones are all set up. They're white and they're beautiful, and they're in rows like you'll see at the Arlington National Cemetery. And it was just a beautiful place. And I kind of walked around, and I was wondering where the soldiers, or where Custer was buried, or where the soldiers that fought in the Battle of Little Bighorn were buried. And somebody said, up that hill. And I rode my scooter because my ankle was sore because I crashed my bike yesterday, but we don't want to talk about that. Rode my scooter up the hill, and there's this beautiful spot on the top of this hill, although Custer might not have thought it was so beautiful, as it was his last place he was. But anyway, the spot on top of the hill, it would have been a good spot, probably a spot I would have picked out if I was looking to defend an area. And what do I know? And this memorial where apparently they had all the people that died, including I think the Native Americans that died, were buried there. And fenced off area with long grass, and I almost thought the long grass made it cool, with a bunch of different headstones kind of scattered about randomly on this hill. And it was where Custer and his men's bodies were found, and later buried for a while. And their gravestones were still there, and it was really neat. And it was on the top of this hill, this little tiny pointed hill, with this vast view of all Montana in every direction. And it was really neat, and it was really kind of a somber experience, because you felt like you were walking amongst history and walking amongst, ghosts of American past. And it was really, really neat. And there was some special Native American, because I'm sure it's an important place for Native Americans too, because they kicked Custer's butt. And there was a display for that, and I didn't even know what this meant, but there was this big bush near the top of the hill, and there was a bunch of pieces of clothing that were tied to the branches, and it felt like, I believe they were put there. I have a hunch they were put there, not totally sure, by Native Americans that visited, maybe like tribal pieces of clothing or what have you, as kind of a dedication. And it was really cool, and it was really kind of humbling, and it was really neat just feeling and being in such a historic spot that I'd seen on documentaries and seen on movies, and knew a little bit about, but it was really, really neat going there. And I was feeling great yesterday, despite my crash. For anyone wondering, I dumped my bike yesterday on a gravel road. I got some scrapes on my knee, some scrapes on my ankle. Let's see if I can get my ankle up here, in case anyone's wondering. I'm doing okay. I was really fortunate. But scrapes on my ankle, and some swollen and hobbling a little bit. But again, my bike scraped up a little bit, a little reflector smashed. I was so fortunate to not be hurt more, or my bike wasn't hurt more, and I was going slowly down this dirt, rocky road that wasn't meant to be a road, and there was this pothole, and I remember thinking I better avoid it. And next thing I know, I was slammed on this rock and gravel, and fortunate to have a thick a leather coat on. And I was laying there, and my leg was really hurting, and I'm going, please, Lord, let me be okay. Let me be okay. And pulled my leg out from under the bike, and although I was in a lot of pain, honestly, I was very, very thankful that I knew it wasn't anything real serious, and that it wasn't anything really, really serious, and that my bike looked in pretty good shape as well. And I was able to pull it back up, which takes quite a bit of work, by the way, and ride it off along the way, and that it managed to get me another, 200 miles yesterday morning and afternoon, and I was fortunate again. So let's drink a little more coffee. But anyway, I'm 875 miles from Roscoe, Illinois. My brother's there now, and he was texting, going, "Is that going to be 3 days?" And that'd be three pretty good days of riding. But I certainly plan to be there in 3 days. And I certainly plan to be there in 3 days. And as I said, unless I'm feeling really frisky and missing them a lot, because it's possible I could make it in 2. But that'd be almost 450 miles a day, which would be a PR. But I think the hardest thing when you're doing this is finding the place to stay at night and planning out your places to stay. And I don't want to be riding crazy later in the dark and not knowing where I'm staying that night. But tomorrow evening, as I'm headed towards Roscoe and my sister's house, might be hard stopping in a hotel 100 or 200 miles short if I've still got some daylight left. And it'd be hard not continuing the ride and maybe making it a destination. And if I get started early enough today and have God willing, a safe day of riding, and get to my next stop, hopefully 400 or so miles down the road. Don't know if I'll be in Minnesota maybe by that time or whatever. Maybe I could make it all the way in 2, but that's not the plan. We're just planning to get there in 3 days. Get there safely, hopefully, and be counting my blessings along the way and be enjoying the various little experiences, the little bit of Americana or the little diners I come across. I know Mount Rushmore is not too far away from where I am, and I've heard the Black Hills are beautiful. Not planning to do really any far touristing stuff, but again, yesterday was an hour well spent because I was riding right by the Custer, the Little Bighorn, and that was time well spent. But I'm not planning to go far out of my way because I got a long ride ahead of me, and I just want to get there safely. How does my body feel at the end of a day of riding? Well, yesterday my body hurt more than it normally would, but again, that's just because I got scrapes and bruises. My butt's sore. My butt's sore. But overall, I feel fairly okay. I rode 275 miles, I think, yesterday, and I think 300 for me is about as much as I want to do comfortably. And it's not even that comfortable, to be honest with you. When the wind's blowing, it's kind of tough. And depending on traffic situations, there's points in the ride where I'm feeling great and cruising down the road at 55 miles an hour, and there's not a car to be seen. But there was this stretch right in the middle of Montana yesterday that seemed very heavily truck driven. And let me tell you, having a truck coming up behind you while you're riding a scooter is a scary thing. And fortunately, truck drivers seem fairly well trained and good drivers, and pass. But on a 2-lane road, there's times, that it's scarier than I like, and that I'm doing the white knuckle gripping on the steering wheel, and I'm afraid and hoping for the best and praying and counting my blessings for sure, because there's moments of tension for sure. I'd like to be on a more powerful bike, bigger bike that could handle the wind and what have you, a little with greater ease, so I could keep up with traffic a little bit more and not having cars flying by me at 80 or 90 miles an hour while I'm going 50, 55, because that's not fun. I like it when they have wide shoulders. There was an area with really nice wide shoulders where I could pull off if I saw a truck coming. And then there was an area where the shoulders weren't wide, where I couldn't pull off if I saw a truck coming. And I'm going, holy crap, there's a truck. Please find. And you're in the middle of Montana. By the way, for anybody worried about overpopulated world, drive through middle America. Drive through middle America. I felt this way in Nebraska and Wyoming. And let me tell you, you drive through Montana, you don't see a person anywhere. You look left, you look right. It is empty. It is empty. There's no homes. You see an occasional cow and an occasional truck coming down on you. And yeah, so. Oh, my coffee is hot. I think they're serving a little, what's it called? Breakfast downstairs. What's the breakfast called when it comes with the hotel room? Continental breakfast. I don't know who made up that name. Guess who cares? Maybe they'll have some fruit, maybe some cereal, maybe an English muffin or two, maybe some eggs, and some sausage links or something like that. And I got a lot of riding ahead of me. And I'm going to be crossing the beautiful state of South Dakota today and hopefully I guess I haven't charted the map. I don't know how far Minnesota is, but I'm looking forward to getting on the road and getting closer to home and getting closer to my sister's house and hopefully experiencing some cool things along the way. And seeing some cool things and maybe taking some cool pictures and meeting some neat people. And, being thankful for the stops I have along the way and the coffee I drink and the experiences I have and the not relationships, but I guess even when you meet somebody just briefly, it's a little mini relationship and those matter too. So the relationships I form along the way. And I'm looking forward to my Sunday. And I hope you're looking forward to your Sunday as well. I got a great night's sleep last night, and it felt good, even though I did wake up before 6. But I got a big day ahead of me. And I'm looking forward to getting to it. And I hope you're looking forward to your day as well. I hope your morning is starting off great. I hope your weekend is going well. I hope you're counting your blessings. I posted a video recently. This somewhere during the night when I woke up about the easiest way to turn your spirits around is finding things to thank God for. And I'd encourage you to do that if you're in a bad place right now or you're hurting or you're feeling bad. Find some things to be grateful for. And if you can say thank you, God, or thank you, Lord, for it, I think it has more power to the gratitude. But if you can combine gratitude and spirituality into one moment, I promise you're going to be feeling better, whether you believe or you don't. And promise you, yeah, Carol, it works. Thank you, Rich Sternicle. Said, be safe, old friend. Rich Sternicle is a fellow scooter rider that I've known since, grade school. The top's on. I appreciate him being here. Husker Ian, good luck with today's ride. Well, thank you so much. I am looking forward. I got a bathtub in there. Let me tell you, thank God for my bathtub. Thank God for my clean room and the continental breakfast and this hot cup of coffee. And again, you see me smiling. I'm not faking it. And again, it doesn't almost matter whether you believe. Find a reason to thank God, and you'll feel a little better. I promise you. Oh, that's sweet, Carol. I'll probably hop on. I'll post a video or two. But I appreciate you guys. I want to thank you guys for hopping on this morning. It means a lot to me that you follow along in my journey. You subscribe to my social media pages. You sharing my little journey down the path that is my life. But I hope you're remembering your journeys. Live your journey. Live your journey. Again, and the way to do it is little things over time, little habits, gratitude, making your bed, praying, working out, smiling a little bit more, saying good morning. And I appreciate you. So again, I hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful morning, and that you're feeling good. Thank you, Lisa. You're loving yourself. You're forgiving yourself. And as always, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye-bye.